Hi, I'm Eric with Simply Elegant Home Cooking. Today I'm going to show you a really interesting Italian-American dish that is not in the repertoire of most home cooks. I'm going to be doing a dish called chicken Scarpariello. This is a sweet and sour and spicy chicken thigh dish with sausage and peppers. Very, very easy to throw together, but it's super elegant. So many layers of flavor. This is easy enough to put together on a weekend night and fancy enough for a dinner party, so stick around. This is a dish you do not want to miss. So to start, I have 8 chicken thighs. Now I like to get thighs with the skin on and the bone in. That's going to give you a lot more flavor. I took these out about 45 minutes ago from the fridge, and you just want to make sure that you blot them as dry as you can. I already did this once. I'm just going to give them a final blot dry on the skin, and this is going to help get us a better sear to get some nice crispy skin going. And then I'm going to season them generously with cracked black pepper and salt. So that was the black pepper, and now I'm going to add the salt. Just use your hands to press that in a bit. Okay, and I have a 5-quart pan that I've been preheating on medium-high heat. We want to sear these on some pretty high heat, so I've let that go for about 5 minutes, and I'm going to add in just a little bit of neutral oil. You don't need much because there's a lot of fat in the chicken thighs. So I'm going to get that in there and swirl it around a bit, and then just lay these in there evenly. And that's what you want to hear. They should snap and crackle when they hit the pan. Okay, so I have all 8 of the chicken thighs in, skin down. I'm going to let that go for about 8 to 10 minutes. You want to resist the urge to touch these or flip them around. So we're going to check back in a number of minutes, and they should be brown, and they should be easily removable. They should flip very easily from the pan once they're ready. Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes, and these should be ready. So that's what you're looking for. They should come up easily and should be nice and browned. I'm going to turn the heat down and take these off and set them aside. And I realized after it was a little too late, I made a small mistake in that last step. What you want to do, you want to brown the chicken skin just like I did for 8 to 10 minutes. But before you take them off the burner, you actually want to flip them and hit the underside for about 3 or 4 minutes and then remove the chicken thighs. And I have the heat on about medium now. With all that oil still in the pan, I'm going to go ahead and add in 4 links of sweet Italian sausage. And we're just going to brown this on both sides. We don't need to cook it all the way through. Okay, and that's what we're looking for, so I'm going to turn the heat off, and I'm going to take these off as well. And with the heat off, I just removed a good bit of that oil. There's quite a bit of oil that comes from the chicken and the sausage, so I left a few tablespoons in there. And I'm going to turn the heat back to medium-high. And once our pan comes up to temperature, we can add in 1 onion and 1 red pepper. This has been sliced up thinly. So you just want to get that in there and give it a big stir around, scrape up any of those brown bits. And as that goes, I'm just going to add a little bit more salt and pepper. And once you get some nice color on your onions and peppers, we can add in a few more ingredients. I have about a dozen pepperdew peppers that I've sliced up. I'm going to go in there, along with about 8 or 10 leaves of fresh sage, and 5 cloves of garlic that I've sliced up. So you want to get all those ingredients in there, then give it a big stir. Going to turn the heat down to medium. And this is the exact product that I use for the pickled peppers. They're called pepperdew. Now they come in a mild and a hot. Even this mild version has some heat, so this is really what I recommend. But you could really use other alternatives. Any type of pickled pepper works. And we let those go just a few minutes. We want to make sure not to burn the garlic. So here's when we really start building some complicated layers of flavor. I'm going to deglaze with 1 cup of dry Italian white wine. I'm going to turn the heat back up to medium high. And we're going to let this reduce by about half. And once that heats back up, it should be boiling away just like this at a steady simmer. We're going to let that go a few more minutes before we add the next ingredients. Okay, so our chicken Scarpariello is well underway. The wine has reduced in volume and is a little bit syrupy. So at this point, I'm going to go in with 1 cup of homemade chicken stock. It is imperative that you used homemade. We're going to add that and let it come back up to temperature. And we also want to add a little bit of sour into the chicken. Now, what some people do is they use the pickling liquid from those pepperdew peppers, and that works fine. But what I really like even more than that is to use Tuscan Italian white wine vinegar. So I'm going to go in with 1/4 cup. Just stir everything as you go. And I like to add a few sprigs of fresh rosemary to infuse. Now, rosemary can be a little intense if you chop it up and bite into it. So we're going to cook this for the duration of the dish and then remove these stalks when we go to serve. But the flavors will have incorporated nicely throughout this sauce. And this next ingredient is optional, but I absolutely love it. I'm going to go in with a large pinch of crushed red pepper flakes. That heat goes nice with the sweet and sour. So I'm going to add that in. Stir this around. And we just want that sauce to thicken up just a bit more. And we can also add in our sweet ingredient. I'm going to go in with 2 tablespoons of sugar. And some of this is to taste. You can always kind of adjust and taste as you go. If you want it a little bit more sweet, add more sugar. You can always add more of the white wine vinegar too. Okay, and now we can start adding everything back in. So I cut those sausages up into about 3 or 4 pieces per link. And then lastly, we're going to be adding that chicken back on. So you want to just lay that on top. You want to make sure that that crispy skin does not get moist. So that's why we're adding this last. Kind of on top of all these other ingredients, the sausages and the peppers. And this looks perfect. I'm going to turn this burner off. And I have the oven preheated to 375 degrees. I'm going to pop this entire pan in the preheated oven. Okay, and that took about 30 minutes. Here's how we look. You'll notice that sauce has really thickened up. The flavors are only going to be more and more intensified. So this looks great. I cannot wait to plate this up and give it a try. Chicken Scarpariello. And here's the finished dish plated up. I always like to go in first and try that sauce. So there's so much complexity there. It's sweet and sour and savory and spicy. It really just has a little bit of everything going on. Let's try the chicken. And you'll notice that is super moist because we used bone-in, skin-on chicken thighs, and also because we cooked it in that flavorful sauce. So good. So the skin stayed nice and crispy, super juicy and tender on the inside. This dish turned out absolutely perfect. So I really hope you enjoyed this dish. You can throw it together in your own home kitchen if you just follow along the simple steps that I've laid out. I am Eric with Simply Elegant Home Cooking. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon.